saying they're loving the chart, mate. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, I just want to point out another thing. Like, this was when the sacrifice, like, obviously Richard has started a trend with the sacrifice phase thing, and then other people started to do their own sacrifice phases, and obviously this was a HEX community thing. So when these other protocols started having sacrifice phases, like the liquid loans one was at this point here, and I think liquid loans got like almost $50 million. And I remember at the time I was running through this, like the wallets for the sacrifice phase for that, and I would say about 90% of them were hexagons, and so we saw a massive dump. So if that 50 million was in hex now, where do you think the price would be? Right, we'd be way up from where we are now. So
yeah,
you know, people can hate on hex and the hex price going down this whole time, but a lot of the economic energy was just taken out, and it wasn't just liquid loans. Obviously, there was quite a few sacrifice phases, and all of that came from the hex community. Like 90% of it at least. Who else was coming in and finding out about these other sacrifice phases that weren't in hex?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
which
it was aimed at the hexagons.
Totally, which is fine, and I mean it's all in the rear view mirror and things, but which is fine. But it's lovely to see it on these charts, and you can really see and make sense of these sorts of things. I mean, the other way, the positive way of looking at that as well is that it gave people an opportunity to get hex at 1.7, because otherwise they wouldn't have had that chance. That's one of the things that I always thought was that, you know, we were getting an unreasonably good deal with hex because of some of these other things that had gone on. Otherwise, I think that the prediction of crypto coffee made back in the day that hex would go down to 6 cents was probably roughly about right. And in fact, actually, if it hadn't been for all the sacrifices and the delay in pulse chain, then we probably wouldn't have gone below 10 either, actually. So
I think you're right with that mid-May launch. That was the big one, wasn't it? When we finally found out that we weren't going to get a launch, and that was the huge sell-off. I didn't think it would go below 10 at this point. Like, we'd come down and we tested the 10 cent and we bounced off of it. I was like, we're going to launch in mid-May, probably won't see 10 cents or below 10 cents. And see, that's how much the fundamentals can affect. You can put lines on the chart all day long, but if someone comes in and says, you know, this thing ain't going to happen anymore that you were all looking forward to, the price is going to dump, man. And vice versa.
It is interesting. I do love that chart though. It's really, really interesting. I think it look good. You could make that into an NFT, couldn't you? Like a bit of a wall chart. And it's like,
exactly.
It is really good, that chart.
But like I said, that works both ways. So as soon as any positive news comes in, look at that bounce, man. I can go into the moon, mate.